Radio. This is 2E0IQJ and 26 Tango Mike 062. So if you're looking at ways to get on the airways and you think, I want to transmit on a radio, you're looking to get in a CB radio and you think, I'll get one of them nice flash sideband radios, but they're £135 plus. I can't afford that, plus I've got to spend another £100 on a decent antenna. You think, well, maybe I'll get one of them FM rigs. So you go and buy a £50 FM rig, you go and buy your antenna, and you think, turn it on, it's dead. There's no one on my area on CB radio. Wish I bought one of them sideband radios now. Well, why not give PMR 446 a try? So PMR 446 stands for Private Mobile Radio, or some people call it Public Mobile Radio. And it's a way of getting on the airways nice and cheap. Now all these handsets here, we've got here the Fluions and stuff like that, you can pick these up, two of them for about 14-15 quid off Amazon and eBay. Now I know that Retivis one there, that was about 15 quid just for one handset. Now when I first started doing PMR radio, it was about 80 odd quid for a set of two PMRs. And they look like this. This is a Goodman's GPMR 116. Now PMR will either have 8 or 16 channels. It'll either have CTCSS tones, DCS tones, or both. Or some radios will just have basic 8 channels, and some radios will have just basic 16 channels and no CTCSS and no DCS tones. So what is CTCSS? Well, CTCSS stands for Continuous Tone Controlled Squelch Subsystem. Basically, the manual will call it privacy codes. It means you can have a group of users on channel 1, another group of users on channel 1 with CTCSS tone 1, and they won't interfere with each other. You can't hear them unless you drop the squelch, or the SQL. It stands for squelch, not structured query language. Now this radio here, the Bondi, which I got from a boot sale, I think I paid about 50p for this one. This has got the basic 8 channels. Now if the Goodman's, this one here, is operating on channel 1 CTCSS tone 1, you can hear it on this one, but you can't talk back. That's basically what the CTCSS tones are doing. Now there are networks on the PMR on channel 8, I think they use 808. Again, this one here, you'll be able to hear it, but it will be no good to talk back to the net. If it's on channel 8, just plain channel 8, then you'll be able to talk back using this radio. This one here is a Retivis PMR, and this has got 16 channels, but you have to program this on the computer, which is what I don't like. You shouldn't have to sit there and program on the computer. When I got this was 16 channels. They're all over the shop. One was on channel 1 was on CTCS tone 16, one was on 32, one was on 24, and so on. Now CTCS tones go up to, I think, 38. So in theory you've got 304 channels on an 8 channel set. So you'd have 8 channels and 38 CTCSS tones. I think that gives a combination of up to 304 channels. And your privacy channels, there'd be more on like the Fluvium, but you have to program that on the computer. But the good side of this one is it's rechargeable via USB. Now some of them are rechargeable via USB, some take AA batteries, and some take treble A batteries. Now this one here is a Fluvium, and I got 2 of these from eBay for 15 quid. Now a friend of mine, Steve, good on you Steve, he's the one that showed me his Fluvium radios. He got 2 for a tenner, and they come in black, they come in red, I think they come in black, orange, yellow and blue. And the reason I got the yellow colour is because every other colour has been sold out, and these were 15 quid for the pair. Now these do 16 channels, and they've got CTCSS tones, DCS tones, and all sorts. Now these can be charged via USB because they have rechargeable batteries inside, or you can run these off AA batteries. Not 8 AA batteries, probably 2 or 4 AA batteries is what you use on a handheld CB. And you can plug microphones and stuff into this one, external microphones, headsets and so on. Now with something like this PMR, there was a connection at the top for your microphone and stuff there, you can use them. And with this PMR, this basic set, this Bondi, it doesn't have anything to plug in any external microphones or any headsets, anything like that. You're just relying on the speaker. This one here, you can use the Retivis speaker mics and headsets and so on. Now this one here is another Retivis. Now I wouldn't recommend these ones unless they've sorted out the problem. This one's stuck on channel 1 CTCSS tone number 10. Channel 2 is CTCSS tone number 10. In fact, all the channels are on CTCSS tone 10. So again, you can put all the radios on CTCSS tone 10 and talk to these. But if you want to talk, if you wanted to use this one, talk to this one, you can't do it. And if the other radios, because of this one's got the fault, these other radios are on CTCSS tone other than 10, you can't use this one to talk to, say, this radio. Now we've got one more radio to have a look at, and this one here, I'm going to call this one the Bear PMR. This one was given to me at a boot sale. I think this one's got just a basic 8 channels, and I think the guy, Steve, bought these for, I think he bought 10 for 12 quid or 12 for 10 quid, which is not bad going. It's just untested. The guy didn't want to list them as each one untested, just do a job lot, buy it now sort of thing. And he gave me this PMR. I think I gave him a few quid for it in the end. Again, this one has the basic channels, LED on top, because all PMRs need a LED. At the top here, it's got a connection there for the speaker mic. Now, the speaker mic is just a one pin connection there, and it's probably one of them headset things. It's not a headset, it's probably like an earpiece with a lapel mic on there or something like that. But again, if these had the CTCSS tones, they'd talk to all the other radios that have got CTCSS tones. Now you go onto eBay, you start looking at walkie-talkies, and you think, I've seen something like this. And this is a Retivis PMR. Not PMR, this is a Retivis RT85. Can I use this on PMR? Yes, this will work on PMR, but it's kicking too much power and it has a removable antenna. These are designed for amateur use and uses with a license. So I can use this on my amateur license, my 2E call sign, can use it on M7 call sign, can use it on a full license holder call sign. Yes, they will work on 446 and people do use them on 446, but it's up to you whether you use them. I've also seen someone on eBay that say they've got a 180 kilometre range on them and they've got a 300 watt output. You wouldn't be holding 300 watts in your hand because it'd be a bit uncomfortable and the radio battery wouldn't last very long. Now, this one here kicks the 5 watts. All these PMRs here, so the Bondi, the Bear PMR, the Goodman's PMR, they are all kicking 500 milliwatts. And in built-up area, expect to get around 1.5 miles to 2 miles. If you go out in open fields, expect to get a bit further. In fact, there's a video by Gary, Charlie Tango 104, who had 2 Fluorion PMR radios and was able to work about 38 miles on it. If you go and stand at the seafront when you've got nothing else in front of you and you had a call out on the PMR, then see how far you can get on these things. I think the record when the PMR first came out was 150 kilometres on one of these PMRs, and it was on there, Delboy online. It was on his website about PMR 446, and someone stood up a mountain there. But if you want to chat to your friends and locally, so you want to chat to your neighbour down the road on it, or you want to chat to your mate and you live in a block of flats up high, he lives in another block of flats, then yeah, you can certainly use these to start talking away on the airways. And all these PMRs are relatively inexpensive. In fact, they start from about £10 upwards. Some of them go up to about £30-40, and some of them can go up to 90 odd pounds, depending on what features it's got and depending what sort of radio that you want to go for. But all these PMRs are a great way of getting onto the airways. Anyway, that was a quick look at some PMR radios. Hopefully you've given some advice. I've given you some advice about using PMR radio. Why not give it a try, see what's about in your area. There's quite a few stations around my area on the PMR, and in fact that's how I got started. And sometimes you get a lift on 446. It's not often, but you do get a lift, which means that you can start talking a bit further. I know when I talked to my friend Robert, he said to me, "Have you moved?" I went, "Yeah, I'm coming towards your house." He said, "Your signal hasn't dropped," and then we realised must have been a lift on. It was a nice strong signal. I was using a Motorola PMR that I got from a boot sale. Anyway, if you found this video of some use, it's gone on for 10 minutes. If you found a video of some use, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, the other button seems to work too. But in the comments below. Post what PMR's like in your area. Is it busy? Is it quiet? You can listen to all sorts of things on the PMR. There'll be businesses using PMR. There'll be shops using it and all sorts. Go and get a PMR, go to a high spot, put a call out and see who comes back to you. Be pleasantly surprised how far you can reach on the 500 milliwatts. Anyway, I'd like to say thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. 2E0 IQJ, 26 Tango Mike 062, 73s for now.